Okay. Now I just chose this painting because it's a good example of like layers in paint. So often all these paintings, like most of these traditional kind of paintings, would have, you know, minimum probably 8 layers of paint on them. Okay. Now, when we're talking about oil paint, the idea is that you start with lean layers and then you gradually get fatter on top. Okay, so the layers become fatter, so the use of paint becomes fatter. Now, often a lot of these traditional paintings, the first layer would be tonal a lot of the time, so just using tone. Now, what they'd often use is like a brown, so like an umber, so similar to the brown that you have. And then on top of that, they start to introduce colour. Now, the first layer is often referred to as underpainting, okay, so underpainting, and that is clear, really clear in this bottom left-hand corner. Now often, like in this painting, just to leave the underpainting again, then draws the focus on the figure because it's kind of built up and this is kind of left as is. Now, the other thing that there's a lot of in this painting is a technique that's called glazing, Glazing. Now, what glazing is, or a glaze, is a transparent layer of paint that sits on top of a dry layer of paint. So if you imagine, I don't have a very good colour for an example, so say you're wearing like a red shirt. If you put like a piece of blue transparent film in front of that red shirt, you're going to end up with purple. You're going to get, you know, the colour purple. So all it is a really thin layer of paint, so a lot of medium, okay, and a small amount of pigment, okay, so it's really transparent. You wait for the layer of paint underneath to dry, okay, really important that it dries, and then you just put that transparent layer down. What happens is all the detail underneath stays, but you're just changing the colour on top. Now often people use it on kind of areas that are dark. So say you've got a really brown background, but you want to turn it into a more kind of blue-black, then you know you come in with like a indigo blue or ultramarine blue glaze on top of that brown, and it'll give you like a blue-black. Okay. Now, in this glazing, so even in the underpainting, so we've left the brown underpainting, but you can see that there's like bits of red and blue kind of glazing on top of that, okay? So it gives it a stain or a wash on top. Now the other areas where there's lots of glazing is in the armour. Okay, so in the armour, a lot of it you can see is a lot of brown underpainting still, but then next to that they come in with a blue glaze on top of that, okay, just to get that variation. And then finally, what they come in the highlights is where they just get thicker with the paint, so they get a bit fatter with the paint where the light areas are. Okay. Now, with the lights in any of these paintings, you'll never really see like a straight white used. Okay, it's always tints or variations of white. Okay, so you'd have your white, and then you tint either cool or warm whites so that they react to each other. Okay, so like a classic mix where you have these more kind of brilliant kind of warm whites would be white mixed with say something like a little bit of lemon yellow or Naples yellow, and that just warms the white up. Okay, so it gives it a little bit more intensity. Now next to that, you've got a lot of cool lights. So you've got the white mixed with the blue, so you've kind of got a blue light, and you've got like a red light where you're mixing like an earth red into it. Okay, now the reason for that is because the cools and the warms will react to each other, and that gives you like a greater intensity of light, okay, when you place them next to each other. So the same kind of up here, you see these kind of cool lights where it's got blue mixed in with the white, gradually merging up into like the white mixed with the lemon yellow. Okay, so that gives you that kind of shimmering effect. Okay, so underpainting, glazing, thin to fat or lean to fat, and just the use of the light in those light areas. Okay.